Murder at Castle Nathria gave Secret Mage some pretty powerful tools, but up to this point I haven't actually seen anyone attempt to play Secret Mage. Until today. So the big one we got is Orion Mansion Manager, a 4-mana 3/5 that says after a friendly secret is revealed, cast a different mage secret and gain +2/+2. So if the opponent can't deal with this card quick, it very quickly gets out of control. There's also Chatty Bartender, which does 2 damage to all enemies at the end of the turn if you control the secret. We got a new secret, the Vengeful Visage, which is kind of weird. You need an enemy minion to attack you in the face, and then you summon a copy to attack your opponent in the face, but, you know, sometimes it's okay. Sketchy Stranger lets us discover a secret from another class. Anonymous Informant makes our next secret cost 0. And then we got a pretty good bit of recurring damage from Frozen Touch. So far, I have managed to keep it 50-50 with this deck, which is honestly better than I was expecting. Rogue.
I've got the roast with the most.
You asked for it.
Well, that's a pretty hot 1-2-3 curve, and Frozen Touch with 5 minions in hand seems pretty good. So if Sketchy Stranger can find a Paladin secret, turn 4 can be Secret Coin Orion. That'll be good. Silly Rogue. Didn't hero power my peasant. Informant. I think Sketchy Stranger is better than Informant here.
Where you followed.
There's Galloping Savior, which is probably just pretty good against Rogue anyway, right? Not a holy spell, unfortunately. But still nice. Alright, so those are probably 0 mana nulls, right? No nulls. I think they would have been 0 mana, but I'm not totally sure. Well, how about we just play a couple minions? And I do want to hold the secret to guarantee Orion. I mean, Galloping Savior is kind of a weird secret with Orion, actually. Maybe I should have taken something different off the Sketchy Stranger, but I don't know. There was like definitely a world where I wanted to play Nightcloak Sanctum instead of Informant this turn. I think this was fine. That is better, right? Actually, let's just go ahead and coin the other secret, right? Makes Orion even scarier. Prep is a good start to the turn when I have Galloping Savior. Oh, that's so good. Gives my guy more health and enough power to one-shot the null. There's the Galloping Savior. I have an Explosive Runes, which is great. And an Ice Barrier, which is not great, but okay, yeah. Orion just ended that game. I've been seeing a lot of aggro druids at my rank recently.
You asked for it.
Kind of an interesting hand. I think I do keep Anonymous Informant. Nightcloak Sanctum is really good if it's aggro. If it's not aggro, it's kind of bad, but I don't know, it's probably still worth keeping. Toss Sketchy Stranger. Maybe Stranger's better on 2 than Informant, but I think they're both good. I don't know, this is such a weird hand. Keeping both of these just feels so mediocre. Let's just do this. Alright, well the hand definitely got worse. And now I guess it got better. Not sure how likely this Oasis ally is to be useful here, but maybe they play like the Druid of the Rush, the 3/1.
You gotta be scrappy with strats.
Alright, just a jerry-rig carpenter. I will Nightcloak Sanctum that.
Just between
That is an early nourish. Spirit of the Reef, of course. 2 taunts. Sure, sure. You are not infused at all. Let's just play Sketchy Stranger. Emergency Maneuvers is really good if it hits Skeleton, I guess. Kidnap is probably pretty mediocre. Avenge is kinda good. Probably just hero powering the jerry-rig carpenter this turn. Let's just go for Avenge because it's nice and cheap. It is also a holy spell for Multicaster and Dawn Grasp. Not that I have either of those at the moment, but I could draw into them. Wow. That is quite an Earthen Scales. I mean, I guess if they didn't play it this turn, it would have cost extra mana, but still. And they don't attack because they're afraid of this secret and this secret, so fair enough. Go ahead and make this skeleton. What if I just fireball a 2/4? Maybe it's good to get counterspell down this turn because of Miracle Growth and Scale of Onyxia. Losing the 50-50 there is for sure a bummer. I don't know. Playing Fireball was kind of fine, but the counterspell seems really good. It's a very good counterspell. Alright, given that their turn was 8 mana do nothing, I'm quite happy with what I did last turn. Where are you? Infuse 1.
where you followed.
When your opponent spends all their mana, draw 2 cards. I would like to draw 2 cards. I think this is fairly likely to work. Maybe 9 mana in particular is kind of a weird turn for them to spend all their mana, but I think they'll spend all their mana at some point. Okay, maybe not if they have 20 mana. Although, specifically on the Guff turn, they do tend to spend a lot of mana.
You gotta be scrappy with scraps.
Alrighty. Probably just gonna freeze that. And go for an Explosive Runes here. Do I want to hero power that? Let's go face. I do have 12 damage in hand, so pushing damage is good for me. And I think Explosive Runes is pretty likely to deal like 1 or 2 damage. Avenge is actually pretty likely to push damage, probably. Okay, never mind on Explosive Runes. This is actually just really bad for me, I think. Actually, I don't think this is a full clear. I think they're like 1 whelp short, which is why I'm happy I didn't kill the Jerry-Rig Carpenter, since they have this and Scale of Onyxia potentially. Surely that goes into Water Elemental, right? I mean, I guess that was more damage than Water Elemental, so fair. 2 of these. You don't want to kill an Arcanologist? Well, I definitely want to play Frozen Touch this turn so I can start infusing the next one. Wait, do I have lethal? I have 12, 17. Not lethal.
What to do? What to do?
I guess I'll see what this can do. I want to get my 3rd minion in play for Frozen Touch anyway. These are just so bad. It's obviously never Seafloor Gateway. I guess I just take the Visage. It's pretty ugly though. Alright, so if they clear my board here, I do have 13 damage. No, I only have 12 because I've mana to hero power. But 12 is good enough to kill. I saw 1 Earthen Scales already, but it was not the copy from their deck. So they've possibly got a couple ways to heal. I actually don't know how common Earthen Scales is. Oh, that's a whiff. They thought I took... I don't know what they thought I took. Maybe they just didn't want... No, I mean, I could see the secret being decent for them. I don't know how they got that wrong. That's not what I was expecting. No armor gain, please. Okay, thank God they missed the 50-50 on the Feral Rage. I think that's 8, right? Okay, that's 8. Oh, they have a Feral Rage? That's tough. That is tough. The Vengeful Visage is going to draw a card because of composting. That's kind of hype. Maybe I should have just played this. Getting 1 minion from the Visage. Probably pretty hard for this to be infused again. And I did end up wasting 2 mana this turn. Okay, Nightcloak Sanctum is good. That actually makes it somewhat likely that I can infuse my Frozen Touch again. Are we... Oh, well, that needs to be frozen. Also, it's good to know that that's in their deck and not in their hand, right? Could be in their hand now, though. So I'm at 16 here. They're showing 13. I've got 10 damage. It's kind of unlikely that they would have any burst, right? I've seen double planted evidence. Could be a Convoke, maybe. It's too hard to freeze Onyxia here. I'd have to, like, Frozen Touch this and then Snow Flurry Hero Power this. Getting 1 damage from Visage. This will be 13. I don't think I need the hero power to go face here. So it's kind of just nice to have 2 extra health. A little late for the legendary. Okay, that actually prevents a double trade, which is kind of nice, I guess. Okay. I guess they just really don't want this 2 to go face, but I don't know, that was kind of weird. Alright, we got there. This Frozen Touch is infused. And the exact lethal.
What shall I play? You asked for it.
We do love the Alchemist. I don't think any of this other stuff is keepers. Maybe Explosive Runes is a keeper. Probably not, though. When I have Arcanologist and Sketchy Stranger, probably doesn't make much sense to actually keep secrets off the mulligan. Unless I, like, have an Informant in hand. I also just really don't know what kind of Demon Hunter this is. There's, like, 4 different builds of Relic Demon Hunter. Could maybe be something aggressive, but probably not with the turn 1 hero power.
A smidge of this, a pinch of that.
Very interesting set of cards here. I don't think the Solid Alibi is very useful for me, although it is a Frost spell for multicaster. I guess Arcane Overflow is an Arcane spell for multicaster. Rune of the Archmage is pretty far away, but there is a decent chance I get to it. I'll go Rune. I feel like, I don't know. If I was in their position, I would assume, okay, they instantly picked Rune. I would have assumed Arcane Overflow. But either way, this is fine. Freeze you, because I don't want to get value traded. So Explosive Runes in this matchup is probably not great. Because they're just going to play, you know, a Peddler or something that replaces itself. Do I want to trade into you? Not really. What if I just go Informant, coin Snow Flurry, freeze you, push damage, and we can save the 0 mana runes to activate Chatty Bartender next turn. And then my multicaster will draw 1 card. Okay, Relic, Death Rattle, Demon Hunter. Alright. Well, one of the cards in their hand is a Rune of the Archmage. Oh, they didn't have any Death Rattles in hand. Okay. This is actually a very good turn then. Okay. That's not upgraded, so those cards are still relatively expensive. Sigil of Alacrity, sure. Sure. I'm pushing 11 damage this turn. Now that's a bad draw. Go ahead and see what the Alchemist can do for me. Wildfire? I can't imagine Flurry or Flame Strike being useful for me. Let's push 2 rather than playing multicaster. Between 2 Explosive Runes and my hero power, I'm probably looking at like a 2-turn lethal here, maybe a 3-turn lethal. And that's assuming that they can do anything to this board, which maybe they can't. Maybe it's a 1-turn lethal. That's a whiff. They probably, I mean, they knew I had Wildfire, but it does literally nothing for them, so they probably just didn't want it. Alright, well that was a nice little stomp.
Let the games begin.
You asked for it.
1/2 is pretty sick. I already have a secret, so I don't need to keep runes.
I see you brought guests.
A smidge of this, a pinch of that.
These are all very mediocre. I'll just take the Snowman. It's probably the only one that's useful for me. And if my opponent wants to spend mana building a 3/3, I think that's kind of fine.
Yes, that's the one. Raw ingredient.
Alright, explosive runes for turn 3. We do love to see it. Could play my own Snow Flurry. I don't think there's that much reason to. Oh, we're playing that card for sure.
Raw ingredient.
What an OP card to draw on turn 3. So I do have a Fire spell and a Frost spell for Magister Dawngrasp already. Maybe Sketchy Stranger can draw... Hunter Secrets are Fire and Frost. This can hit a Holy Secret from Paladin, maybe? Oh, that's a really good draw, by the way. Let's just freeze you. And go face. My opponent probably drew a Wildfire off this, right? Since they didn't get the little icy boys. That's a 1 minion flurry. There's the Wildfire. I think that is the card they drew off the 2/3. Alright, fine turn for the opponent. Orion, huh? Can freeze this and trade into these pretty easily. I think it's Orion time. Maybe I don't like missing 3 damage, but 3 damage isn't that significant, I would think. Of course, if they just never play a minion, then Orion's not that good. I would like to read your essay explaining that hero power target.
Where you followed.
Well, let's see what the Sketchy Stranger can do for me. I did get a Holy Spell for Dawngrasp. I think it's also just the best one here.
Just between us.
I really wanted to have minions in play to protect Orion from getting hit. So unfortunately this will freeze my Orion if it runs into it, but this attacking into my Orion actually gives my minion +2/+1 because of Judgment of Justice. So it's kind of fine. I do unfortunately have no board space here. What did I get? A Vengeful. Does this make board space? Freeze a minion, summon a 2/2. I feel like this makes a board space, so I can play my Snow Brute. I don't really want to play Magister Dawngrasp because the Fire spell is an explosive runes, and the Frost spell is a minion on the board, so it doesn't really do anything. Let's see if this works. Okay, cool. Let's build a Snow Brute. And now, my Dawngrasp is even better, because sometimes it makes a 6/6 instead of a 3/3. I will say, though, that the Vengeful Visage was probably the worst thing I could have gotten on Orion for the sake of proccing the Orion again. But there's an Explosive Runes. This actually does clear a lot of my board, but I'm still pushing, what, 14, maybe 20 if I want it. And we got an Ice Barrier, not great, but not terrible. I don't think this ever backfires, but I'll attack with my minions first. Judgment of Justice, Runes, Snowman. Okay, we did get Snowman instead of Snow Brute, but that is fine. Judgment of Justice, Explosive Runes. So 3 of these are pretty unlikely to go off, but the Explosive Runes, well, it's no longer likely to go off, but my opponent seems kind of dead, don't they? Is that just me that thinks my opponent seems kind of dead? Oh, get Explosive Runed. Not that it mattered. My opponent was at 10. I had 9, 18, 20, 22, 28, I believe. Reverse Hollow Swinub, that's the sickest card I've gotten so far. Definitely sicker than my Vespiquen.